Really, this wasn't the Christmas that this particular leading United Kingdom retail store was expecting. But then again, you would sort of think by putting somebody so controversial in your TV ad, well, what did you expect? Let me tell you what's happening behind the scenes. As ever, I'll just explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time. I'll have a lovely wave in the very heart of Kensington today. People ask me, why do I pick these particular areas and corners? Truly, honestly, it's safe. You know, it's very strange, even now, walking up and down, say, in Hyde Park, Kensington Park, you know, be very careful and things with your handbags and your bags, and particularly guys, you know, who've got all the big cameras, you know, the tourist people. People are monitoring you all the time. I don't want to frighten you, but they are. And, you know, if you sit down or put a bag down and you may sort of chat to your friend at the side, they'll sidle up on their bike and scooter. That's how badly Sadiq Khan's London has now become. He's not too fussed, of course. He's threatening to leave because a certain president's now been put back in. We're ready to whip round and get the bus fare for many people, I'm sure. But there you go. This is exactly the problems we have. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because as I told you a couple of days ago now, this particular advert caused, well, a lot of controversy simply because, of course, the person who's starring in it, Bridgerton actress, who famously now said at the coronation of His Majesty the King, King Charles III, well, the balcony looked terribly white, and then really upset, well, I would say the majority on what should have been a very special day. Two people from ITV, of course, the royal ex-royal correspondent Tom Bradbury, was sat there and did nothing, said absolutely nothing in the defence of the monarch or anything. So, you know, put that out there and say, why didn't he say, well, don't be ridiculous. No, he let it go. Then Ofcom decided, the weak background Ofcom, not to do anything about the numerous complaints that came through. So Boots, the chemist, thought it was a good idea to place this particular individual front and centre in their ad. Wow, big mistake that was. What we started here on the channel was incredible when you think, simply because it became a social media sensation and all of that. Now, as I said to you before, there are far more talented, more beautiful, more in line with what could have sold that particular brand, including men and ladies of colour. There was no diversity in that ad whatsoever. Whoever put it together decided they wanted to create a lot of controversy. But what they're going to do is find that Boots have a very terrible Christmas. This, as I said, on the back of them closing over 300 stores here in the United Kingdom, putting lots of people out of work, and now, thanks to this, more. Now, what I can tell you, what's happening behind the scenes is this. They're deciding whether to scrap the ad. Now, what's happening behind the scenes is this. They're deciding whether to scrap the ad. Take three. Now, what's happening behind the scenes is they're deciding whether to completely scrap the TV ad in its entirety and just come up with something a little bit more engaging, or indeed try and re-edit it. But behind the scenes at the HQ of Boots, well, the bottom line is it's in split divide. Many people say it would be wrong to pull the ad and you just give it in, all of that sort of stuff, while others, more senior, are recognising the fact that literally money is going to be walking out the door this festive season. Either way, this particular actress will be quite limited, I would suggest, in getting work now, seemingly because whatever she's in, people are going to scrutinise it with a fine-tooth comb, and that's all down to her own stupid, idiotic self for saying such a controversial remark on what should have been such a celebratory and wonderful historical day. Anyone else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.